Welcome, boys and girls, for another of Cosette's Enchanted Journeys. I am Jenny, the storytelling genie, here with my sweet and crafty friend Cosette, the kitty cat, and we wish to welcome you to our magic lamp. Today, Cosette has a very special story picked out for you that has to do with Halloween, which is why you found us in the middle of pulling out some of our Halloween decorations. We've got some fall-colored flowers and leaves and some pumpkins, and there's a bunch more that we still have to pull out of the attic, isn't there, Cosette? So we'll have to get busy doing that today. But in the meantime, what did we say? We take the boys and girls on our magic carpet ride and read a special story together. This one's about a little friend of ours that we've read before, and his name is Franklin, and it's Franklin's Halloween. Are you ready to go? All right, let's rub our hands together. Say the magic words with me. I wish to go on an enchanted journey, and away we go. And welcome, boys and girls, for another of Cosette's Enchanted Journeys story times. And today I have for you Franklin's Halloween. I hope you enjoy it. Franklin could count by twos and tie his shoes. He knew the days of the week, the months of the year, and the holidays in every season. Today was October 31st. It was Halloween. Franklin could hardly wait for tonight's costume party. Everyone would be there. Franklin and his friends had talked about the party for weeks. There would be games, prizes, and even a parade. Best of all, there would be a haunted house. "I think there'll be bats and spiders," said Franklin. "And skeletons," added Beaver. Rabbit shivered. "My sister says she saw a real ghost in there last year." "That's silly, Rabbit," said Beaver. "There are no real ghosts." All of Franklin's friends were excited because of the costume contest. Franklin wasn't sure what he was going to wear. He tried on everything in his dress-up trunk, but nothing seemed quite right. Beaver and Goose were keeping their costumes secret. "Try to find us at the party," they giggled. Fox was also mysterious about what he was going to be. "Look for something gruesome," he said. That gave Franklin an idea. He would be something creepy. It took Franklin more than an hour to make his costume. As soon as it was done, he sneaked up behind his father and tapped him on the shoulder. "Trick or treat," said Franklin. "Ah!" gasped his father. "Who are you?" In his deepest, spookiest voice, Franklin answered, "It's me, Frankenstein." On the way to town, Franklin tried to guess who was inside each costume. "At least I don't have to worry about finding Bear," said Franklin. "He's always a ghost." By the time Franklin and his parents arrived, the party had started. Franklin spotted a ghost at the apple bobbing and hurried toward him. "Hello, Bear," Franklin said. "Who?" answered the ghost. "That's good, Bear," said Franklin. "You sound really scary." Franklin bobbed for an apple. Then he ran to the pumpkin toss. It was his favorite game because he always won a treat. Franklin's bag was almost full by the time the judges announced the costume contest. While everyone lined up for the parade, Franklin tried to find more of his friends. He thought he recognized Beaver and Goose, but where was Fox? They marched around the building twice. Franklin made horrible monster sounds and shuffled with stiff, straight legs. He won a prize for being the best green monster. There was only one more thing to do: go into the haunted house. "You first," said Beaver, pushing Franklin toward the door. It creaked open. A skeleton rattled. Chains clanged. There were moans. Franklin stepped on something crunchy. Suddenly, a big, hairy hand reached out of the darkness. Franklin's heart beat hard and fast, but before he could scream, a light was flicked on. "Trick or treat," shouted Mr. Mole. Franklin looked around nervously. Then he laughed. The hairy hand was only Mr. Mole's mop. "Here's a treat for braving the haunted house," said Mr. Mole. "A ghost came before you. He got so scared he flew away." "But Bear can't fly," said Franklin. "It wasn't Bear," exclaimed Mr. Mole. "Bear is homesick with a nasty cold." Franklin shuddered. If Bear wasn't the ghost, then who was? He ran back to his friends who were waiting in the line for the haunted house. "Was it scary?" asked Fox. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "Maybe I did," said Franklin. He told them what Mr. Mole had said. "You mean that Bear was never here?" asked Beaver. Franklin shook his head. The ghost flew over them. It swooped low and called, "Woo!" Rabbit twitched. "So what is white, says who, and flies?" "A real ghost," answered Goose. Run! Franklin was about to follow when he saw a feather floating down. Stop! He shouted. I think I know who the ghost is. Franklin showed them the feather. Look, it must be Mr. Owl. Even Rabbit giggled when he realized the trick their teacher had played. By the end of the party, everyone's bag was full. Poor Bear, said Raccoon. No treats for him. We could share our treats with Bear, suggested Franklin. All of the friends agreed. They each put some treats into a bag. Then they walked to Bear's house and left the bag on the doorstep. Trick and treat, they called. On the way home, Franklin looked into his treat bag. Goodness, said his mother. You have enough in there to last until next Halloween. Maybe, said Franklin, sampling a few, but secretly he hoped the treats would last until the end of the week. The end. And what did you think of Franklin's Halloween? I hope that you enjoyed it. Are you ready to go and do a special activity with me now? Me too. Okay, let's go. All right, boys and girls, for today's activity, we're going to make this spooky ghost in this pumpkin lantern. It's kind of a fun and different take on making a jack-o'-lantern. So what you're going to need are some dowels. I have 12-inch dowels that I'm just taking 4 inches off each to make them 8 inches. And this is entirely up to you how tall above the bottom of your pumpkin you want the roof to be. I'm giving it a lot of space so I can fit a ghost and a candle in there. And with the help from an adult and some supervision, you're going to cut your jack-o'-lantern, but you're not going to cut it like you normally would. You're going to cut it in half horizontally, as you can see that I am doing here. And just take your time and try to get a straight line all the way around the pumpkin. And again, you're going to want an adult's supervision and help with this step if your pumpkin is kind of thick. I'm using a small to a medium size pumpkin because I didn't want a very tall piece to work with, but that's entirely up to you as well. You can get a smaller pumpkin or a larger pumpkin. Once you've carved your pumpkin in half, you'll see something a little like this. And now you're just going to take a spoon and empty out all the pumpkin seeds and pulp and just scrape it as clean as you can. A spoon works really great for this. If you like to get ooshy-gooshy and mushy, you can certainly use your hands as well, but I'm finding just a spoon just scrapes it out nicely. For an extra bonus treat, you can separate those pumpkin seeds from that pulp there, and you can ask an adult to help you bake those, and those make a delicious snack as well. The inside of your pumpkin should look pretty smooth once you get all those pumpkin seeds out. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your dowels, and as you can see here, I have kind of made a point on each of mine just with a pencil sharpener to make it easier to insert my pumpkin. You don't have to do this step, but I do recommend trying to make a point on the end of those to make it easier. But you're going to decorate those dowels. And I've picked out green and purple because those are Halloween-y colors. And I'm going to paint 2 of my dowels in a green. I'm going to paint the other 2 in a purple. And those are going to be the decorative columns that are going to hold up the roof of our pumpkin. So take your time and paint these thoroughly through any colors that you like, any pattern that you like, and allow those to dry. While you're waiting for your dowels to dry, you can begin working on your clay ghost. I'm just using a white air dry clay, and I've just taken a lump and I'm working it in my hands. I'm rolling it around and warming it up. I'm going to make kind of an oblong shape with this clay, and I'm going to try and stretch the top and turn it just a little bit. You don't want to turn and twist too hard because the clay does crack as you do that. So I'm just applying very gentle pressure, and I'm just twisting it to kind of give it a ghosty shape at the top. Now you'll see mine's cracking and it's difficult to work with too. But if you use a little bit of water on your fingers, you can smooth that out. And even the edge of a paintbrush helps with this as well. So just take your time and make it as ghosty as you can, and just have fun with it and make your own ghost. When you're happy with the look of your ghost, you can use some black beads or some black buttons. I would recommend trying to get 2 that are a little bit smaller and 1 that's a little bit larger to make eyes and a mouth. You're going to use your 2 smaller ones up top to make his eyes, and you can bury those kind of deep in there, and then you're going to use the larger one to make a mouth. My beads were a little bit close in size to each other, so I'm going to just push some of the clay over the edges to try and hide them deep down in my ghost a little bit more. But again, have fun with this and make yours however you like. The other thing I'm doing is I'm using extra clay to kind of make some arms and attach it to the body, so he kind of looks like he's waving at us, I guess, as you can see here. So there's my ghost. Your dowels are dry with their first coat of paint. You can insert them into the lower half of your pumpkin. I'm using the point of my scissor just to poke a hole into that pumpkin rind so it's easier to push down my dowel. I do recommend that you use something to poke down into the pumpkin and make it a little bit easier to insert those dowels. Once you've done that, you're going to add the top or the lid and do the same thing. And once it's fully assembled and supporting itself, as you can see mine is here, you can take your paintbrush and touch up any paint. As you can see, my dowel needs a little touch up from where it was laying on the newspaper. You can also add contrasting colors during this step, maybe add some polka dots or some stripes, anything that you would like. You can also paint the stem of your pumpkin. I'm just gonna paint mine a purple. Here you could add some extra colors, some glitter, sequins, anything you like to make yours stand out. This project can be as creative as you wish it to be. You can even add some stickers to your pumpkin if you so choose. Here I am folding up some purple construction paper to add some decorative ripped paper, torn paper look to the base of my pumpkin once I have it setting out. So you'll see it just gives it a little bit of extra special and makes it look like one nice piece together. And there you have it. There's my little ghost in his pumpkin, and I've even added a candle and lit it, and you can see some of that construction paper there I'm using to help push him and support him inside of my pumpkin. And here's another look at it. So I hope you enjoyed doing this project with me. And again, be as creative as you'd like. Add stickers, add glitter, add tape, add anything you want. Add a couple of ghosts, make it smaller, make it taller, anything at all that you choose. No right or wrong, once again. But we're out of time with our craft again today, so it's time to head back to the magic lamp and say goodbye to Cosette. Are you ready to head out? Me too. Okay, let's go. Oh, just kidding. This is a silly hat. What do you think of that? I think it's getting a little noisy. Maybe we'll turn it off. I hope you weren't too... Maybe it doesn't want to turn off. Maybe if I just set it down. There we go. I hope you weren't too spooked. Oh my goodness. It won't stop, Cosette. I'm going to have to figure out how to turn that off. I might have to take the batteries out. Welcome back to the Magic Lamp, boys and girls. Oh my goodness. Oh no. It might be stuck. This has been up in storage. Okay, I think we got it off. Oh my, that was spooky. I hope it wasn't too spooky for you boys and girls. As you can see, Cosette and I were pulling out some more of our spooky Halloween decorations after reading Franklin's Halloween. Did you enjoy that story? I really enjoyed it. I like how he was creative with his costume and how Mr. Owl played a little bit of a trick on him. And I also enjoyed today's craft activity. Were you able to follow along? It can be a little bit tricky carving pumpkins, can it? I hope you had an adult that could help you, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll continue to use your imagination and creativity to come up with fun things to do all holiday season long. Well, it's that time again, isn't it, Cosette? It's time where we have to say goodbye to the boys and girls and wish that they'll come back and see us in our magic lamp again soon. Until you do, take great care of yourselves, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.